There you go. There you go. Welcome, Mr. Mickey O'Sullivan. That's so
Hi.
formal. Hi. How's Chicago?
Chicago is so warm right now. It's like 95 degrees. I'm basically in my bathing suit right now. No, it's cold. I just got done shoveling. Which I really enjoy shoveling.
Okay.
Yeah, it reminds me that there's work to be done.
Makes you normal. I have
Yeah,
a normal life.
and then I walk the dog and see the neighbors, and I love Chicago.
Okay, I got probably just gonna. I've been asking people that I've been talking lately. So, how is it like working in a COVID situation?
Yeah. You know, I think that it fluctuates personally between being really hard because things are so not normal, and then also at the same point, just grateful to have some semblance of normalcy,
Mhm.
uh,
Right.
and to have something to do. And sometimes when you're not working as much as an actor, it can feel very easy to not think you're an actor, and
Uh,
but just it's different now. It doesn't mean it's better or worse. It's just different, and I'm trying my best to be in it and enjoy it and be present in it because we likely will never see this again. Hopefully,
now,
hopefully.
yeah, cross our fingers. But here's the thing too. And I was talking to one of he lives in New York. He's a Broadway actor, and
Yeah,
he goes like, the best thing that probably that came out of COVID is you guys as an actor, as a performer, because I know you're in theater too.
yeah,
It brought out a lot of creativity.
yeah. For some people, um, it certainly has allowed for um, certain for time for certain things that there wasn't time for before. For example, I am about 6 seasons deep on Grey's Anatomy right now, and I love it. I've watched so much great TV. I've watched so many great movies. Had so much great family time. They're watching America's Funniest Home Videos in the next room,
I,
um, and so certainly, like, I don't know, creatively if I've been super inspired, maybe for the first like 2 months or so, but then I think I just had to remind myself that like it's okay that there's time, without creative inspiration, and it'll come back.
Now let's go back a little. You are originally from New York. We were talking about this.
The Big Apple.
Moved to Chicago. Um, and you have a very freaking long resume. But you're like, okay, I cannot really talk this, but fine. All right. Between theater, commercial, and television and independent film, is there a preference, Mickey? Mickey or
Oh,
Mikey? I don't want.
so I have a lot of names. I'm Mickey, Mike,
Meh.
Sully, Shithead. That's what my dad calls me. Michael, if there are legal proceedings to be had. Mihal, if anybody from Ireland is talking to me. Michael Anthony O'Sullivan when I'm in trouble from my mother. I got a lot of names. So and in the same way that I have a lot of names, I think I've done a lot of different things in my life, and I think I chose being an actor because I liked doing all of those different things, and I didn't want to ever focus on one thing in particular.
Uh huh.
The spontaneity of it really excites me. So I don't know if there's a preference. I like to be busy and I like to be around people. I think that's probably been the hardest part of the COVID time is that like
Right. Right.
I really, really thrive when I get to see people, even just from in passing. I thrive off that energy, which being from New York, there's nothing like walking downtown New York City. Um, you feel like you get energy. There's a buzz in the air, and that's how I've wanted to create my life and my career. And so I've gone about trying to do as many different things as possible so that I can be as employable as possible and work as much as possible. And it's
Well,
worked out.
well, congratulations on the reel. They're very good. I saw
Thank
it like gazillion times ever, but hey.
you. You'll get my
But yeah, but it's interesting how wide is your reel. I mean, from one character to the other. And I don't want to say it's an extreme, but it's more of like, geez, there's a lot of sides of him. And like, we, especially if a lot, I'm sure there's a lot of, because we've been posting it a lot online. So I'm sure there's a lot of Chicago PD fans who know you as Tom Doyle. So it goes like, when you post that and go, okay, he can do something else. And I have somebody said that to me. Oh, he can do something. He can be funny. I said, dude, he's an actor. It's like, it's a character. And sometimes they get into so much of the character than the actor or the person itself. Now, how do you prepare for a role, whatever role that is given to you, or do you have a selection preference? Yeah, okay, I can do everything, but I still can be picky.
I think there's some qualifications I look at when I'm being presented with an opportunity, but it's usually never the same thing, right? Like I look for
Mhm.
I look for things that like green lights, like where I'm like, oh, absolutely, let's do this, and I also look
Mhm.
for red lights, right? Things that are like,
Right.
maybe this isn't the time for that right now, whether it's like the the time frame of the project, or maybe it's the content, or maybe it's um, there's all sorts of different things that can pop up, but when I go about preparing, usually it's, gosh, TV and film move so fast these days, that you'll
Mhm.
get an opportunity, and the next week you're filming that thing, and you'll get a new script 2 days before. And so a lot of my preparation probably comes in kind of doing some basic research about what the profession is, what the point of view of the character is, and then kind of getting into what words the writers chose to use. Like, what are the common words there, the language, the class of person, meaning like the status of the person. And then I kind of go from there. I let my imagination go. I doodle a lot, and then I just say the words over and over again, as many different ways as possible. Because once you get on set, the words will change and everything. And sometimes the words will change. Sometimes you get brand new sides the day of. Um, but uh, everything, I like to be surprised when I'm on set with the people that I'm working with. So I don't pre-plan many things. I have a basic point of view that I'm coming from the character with, and I understand the scene, and then it's just about playing. It's pretend. It's the beautiful
Yeah,
thing. You grow
yeah.
up and you play pretend, and then when you grow up, you get to play pretend some more. So that kind of
I,
thing.
I like it that you said that because here in Hawaii we have, well, a year ago we had the Hawaii 50, and now we have Magnum PI. And I
Yes,
remember and I remember Alex telling people that, well, it's kind of like playing pretend and getting paid for it.
yes.
Yeah, it goes like that. And I play pretend. I said, okay, whatever. But what is how do you call this? I know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you graduated. You have training in theater first
Good,
and
good
foremost.
correction there. I never graduated, but I did get training. Yes.
Or
Uh, yeah.
and like, has it always been theater performing that you ever wanted since knee high?
No. I didn't know that it was possible. And so when I was a really, really young baby, before I can even remember, I was on a show called As the World Turns. It's a soap opera. And I did
And
some.
you were a baby.
Oh, I was a little tiny thing. I was a
Okay,
baby.
right.
And I did a bunch of like Smokey the Bear commercials and stuff. I don't remember any of this, but so then my whole life, people would just tell me, right? They saw me as this person. You're an actor, right? Like, you're a storyteller, you're a liar, you're a this, you're a that. And I think some of that kind of just permeated, but I resisted it for a very long time. And then in middle school, I auditioned for a play. I got in the play, but there was singing, and I didn't like singing very much. Um, and so then I auditioned for the next one because I thought that's what you did, and I didn't get it, and I was really embarrassed. And so I thought maybe, well, maybe if you just go to the first rehearsal, they'll rethink their decision. And I just was so embarrassed, and I went there, and they were like, "What are you doing here?" I was like, "Oh, this is a bad idea." So I left, and I started playing. I started getting into trouble.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
and left junior high. And so my mom gave me the opportunity to pick something other than getting into trouble to do. So I started
Mhm.
hockey, and I kind of just threw myself 150% into that. And then when hockey kind of wound up, I hurt my knee playing hockey, and I had free time on my hands, and the theater director pulled me aside and said, like, "Why don't you come with me?" So at that point, the only playwrights I think I didn't even know the word playwright, you know, um, and I thought it was like Neil Simon and William Shakespeare, and that was it. And so when I realized like there's this whole world, there's this whole industry, people get paid to do this. You can go to school for this. I decided that I would go to school for special education and and theater training, acting training. And
Mhm.
I realized very quickly that you couldn't really do both. They both
Mhm.
required an immense amount of your time and your effort and your passion. So I chose the one that I felt like I was the best at, the one that like naturally um, people tell me that like without having to done without having had done much work, people were like,
Mhm.
wow, this is something you're good at. And so then I was like, well, if that's true, then I better put some energy into this. So then after that, like you study theater because at the time, I don't know, like if I'm going to public school and I'm studying theater, I'm also studying my general education courses, right? And so
Mhm.
I'm getting a well-rounded education. I don't know if I would have been able to convince my parents at that point that like a good choice would be going to like film school.
Uh-huh.
Although looking back now, like there's a lot that I feel like I could have learned there. And so I did theater because I knew what it was, and it was familiar to me. And up and I did theater pretty consistently until maybe 2014. And then I started
Mhm.
working a little bit more in commercials and film and TV. And about 3 years ago, I stopped working in theater and just focused all my time on the camera. That's a that's a long rant. I'm sorry. Let me get some water in
No, no, but I'm just saying because like it's most of the time when people that I talk to, they said like it's so nice to have theater as a foundation
there.
when you go to film and whether it's going to film on and television, and then you kind of go back to theater to kind of like hone your craft. Um, Now that you haven't done theater, how much honing of your craft have you been doing? I know COVID kind of like restrain you from doing anything. Everything is virtual, like classes left and right in theater, stuff like that. I know for a fact, Stephen, your theater, your stage and your theater, famous theater program there in Chicago is very known for their classes. Have you done that?
You're talking about Steppenwolf?
Yeah.
I haven't done Steppenwolf, but I've done Chicago Shakespeare. There's a lot of the improv theaters that I spent a lot of time at as well. I think the reason that theater is such a good training ground is it's an everyday thing, right? Like you're rehearsing
Hmm.
every
Hmm.
single day, and so I think that's possible for actors, right? It's just you don't. It's not the sexy part of the job to sit there and
It
read
is not.
to read the script or to read a script that you're not working on, that you're not working on, you're not employed to be working on, and going over your vocal exercises or dissecting a scene or anything like that. That's not like something that we post on social media very much. But it certainly happens, and there are different I think working on yourself as an actor is meaning like finding ways to be healthy, stay healthy, not only physically healthy but emotionally healthy, and understanding who you are and um, where you are in your life also pay dividends in your acting career. You know.
Okay, so I gotta mention this. I know you and Leroyce work together.
Yeah.
It's so cute how you posted it on Instagram. It goes like, I said like, okay, that's quite an interesting thing. Now, prior to Tom Doyle's character, you were like everybody was keep reminding me that you're not just Tom Doyle in Chicago PD, but you've been a lot of stuff. You've done a lot of characters. Um, how did the your first you remember your first episode on Chicago PD? How did that? I know outside the audition thing that you normally do, um, but how did the process? Because like I know it's probably redundant to ask this, but for those people who are not into television or wanted to go to television, how does the process of auditioning to a hit series of
Yeah.
Wolf Entertainment goes? And NBC too, prime time.
Yeah. I think I was so oblivious. I think I had no idea, and I probably still don't. Like my fiance makes fun of me that you could tell me that Christina Aguilera was at the door, and I'd be like, "Who's that? That's great. Who's that?" Um, and so when so the process goes right. You get an audition, you get an email
Mhm,
or a phone call. Hey, you've got this audition. Here are these sides. This is the place that you go. You're going to go to the casting director. You're going to read in front of the casting director. And so for this particular audition, I was going straight to um, like producers or directors. Uh,
mhm.
so I got to the audition. And I was supposed to read. So this was in 2000. This was season 2.
Right, right.
And so I get there, and you don't have much time to overthink it. I think it was like a day, maybe. So
Uh,
you get in, and I get there, and I go in and I read for the guy who snitches on the character I eventually played.
mhm,
And uh, the director looked at me and he said, "Hey, can you go and memorize these pages real fast and come back in here and work on and do this?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I did it. I think it was like the interrogation scene of that episode, and I was supposed to eventually rat on this guy, and I couldn't remember the damn guy's name to save my life. And as the actor, like reading, and
right.
the actor was like, "Yeah, I really like that choice there to have trouble remembering the guy." And I was like, "Yeah,
Mhm.
if you thought it was an acting choice, then it was." Uh, so I left and I was going to rehearsal for a play. Um, I got a phone call halfway to that rehearsal that I was being put on hold for the episode. It's like, "Oh, that's fantastic! Like this is a good thing." And usually that means like in 2 or 3 days you'll go for a fitting and so on and so forth.
Mhm.
And then I got to my rehearsal, I turned my phone off, and I opened my phone half an hour later, and there's like 40 missed calls. So they wanted me to come down to CineSpaces where we shoot in Chicago, one of the studios. They wanted me down there that night to shoot a scene for the previous episode, the ending of the previous episode. So like this is kind of the process you go through. Every audition and booking process is different, but
It's different.
this is a good example, right? So I hop on my bike, I go home, I shower, I change, I eat what little food I have, I ride my bike all the way to the studio. It's like 5 miles or so. I get there, I'm dripping sweat. They put me through wardrobe, right? I show up on set. I still haven't read the script at this point because you don't get the script until
Right.
typically there's a few days there. So I get to, I'm trying to read this script, and I figure like, well, maybe I should just go to the scene that I'm in. And at that point, this guy pulls me aside, and I meet Sophia and Jesse, and we're at this bar. We're shooting at this bar, and there's giant lights up everywhere. And at this point, I'm recognizing that there is a magnitude to this. There is a lot of money riding on me being able to do this well. And so this guy looks at me. He's the stunt guy, and he goes, "Hey, is somebody giving you your weapon yet?" And I'm like, "Nope." And I'm like, "All right, so somebody's gonna do that. Pay attention. You're gonna come in. You're gonna go tap. You're gonna go pep. What did he say? He goes, cap, 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 right? and or bang bang bang, he says, right? And I'm like, yep. And he goes, then they're gonna pop out, they're gonna go bang bang bang, you're gonna pop out here, you're gonna go bang bang bang, you're gonna go here. And at this point, I remember in my theater training that you're supposed to, you don't want somebody to repeat something twice because it takes a lot of time. And so I'm
That's true.
counting all of the bang bangs. I'm like, one, two, three, okay, one, two, three, here, one, two, three. And he goes, okay. And then you run out and be careful because when you go out, the glass is going to shatter. Okay. So you
Right.
um, don't put your hand on the handle. Use your shoulder. And it's like, okay, I think I got it. And we do it. And then he said, yeah, like, do you got it? I better have it. Right. So we go through it, we do it. And we do it a few different times, but I just couldn't believe how fast it moved. And I'm just so thankful that, and it was already Friday night at that point. I think NBC probably would have went into double overtime or something at that point. But like all the people around me probably would have gotten a little bit of extra money that night if I screwed it up.
Well,
But I
it's
think NBC was thankful.
that's technically your debut on Chicago PD.
Yeah,
Trying to shoot Halston,
thrown in
literally.
the fire. Yeah.
Right. Then you came in again, getting beaten up by Voight, but that's fine. Everybody's okay with getting beaten up by Voight. But now, did you know that who these guys were before? I mean, especially Jason. I know you know Leroy. It's because you
Yeah.
guys worked together back in school. But I mean, Jesse came from a TV show. Jesse came from a TV show, so with Sophie, and then of course you have Jason, who also have like a long, literally like whatever resume, if resume still exists with that
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Now, how intense was that? Because you watch it, it's kind of like, oh my god, he's into his face, kind of thing. Does he ask permission? Look, Vicky, I'm gonna be so close,
Yeah,
back or whatever.
there's a little bit of conversation there, right? With any scene that you're doing, you want to give the other person a heads up on like
Hmm.
proximity, right? And so there's conversation about, and then there's also the stunt guy there and the fight choreographers and stuff if choreography is needed. And at that point, like I'm a theater trained actor who like I love to rehearse. I love to talk about scenes. I love to try out different choices. I'm also a really physical performer. Um,
Hmm.
I do a lot of when I was on in doing more theater, I was doing a lot of fight combat, and so I kind of relish the opportunity to do that on camera. The only difference is in theater, you get slapped once a night, right? On camera, you get slapped, you do it well, you get slapped maybe only 25 times, but like you're doing a lot of takes. And so I think that's been the biggest lesson that I've learned is uh, you choose things that you want to do over and over and over again.
Hmm.
Um, and as far as like, was it intense to see all these people? And I'd say like, no, I'm so lucky that I don't know a lot about celebrities
Right,
or
right,
it's so much fun to meet these people because I have no idea why I should care so much about them.
right. And I think it helps as a performer because the idea of like, okay, I don't get starstruck. I have no idea who they are, and we're both in the same space because we're working as actors. And that comes, I think, helpful for you guys. That you're in the same thing, and it makes it more easier for you. That the celebrity status doesn't really, they don't carry it when they're on the set.
Yeah, your colleagues, right? And that's the nice thing.
Exactly,
Especially on
exactly.
that set. Sometimes you can go. I haven't been to one personally, but there's certainly stories of people going to set and being treated like less than a colleague, but I've never
Hmm.
experienced that personally. Um, we're professionals, equal playing field, and everybody wants everybody to do well. Nobody wants anybody to do poorly at work. Like because we're all actors. We're trying to elevate the scene, and so uh, I think that the biggest thing is you don't want to make these people work any longer. I think that
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
working TV is these people are working 14, 16 hours a day, and
Hmm.
crew members even longer, production members. So when you screw something up three times and you look at the light guys or whatever, and it looks like they haven't slept in 2 days, you're like, oh God, all I want to do is do this right so you can go home and get some sleep.
That's true. That's true. And with the mask right now, you cannot see them rolling their eyes, you know, literally. But yeah, you got to be empathetic with the people around. And I usually say, when we were doing stuff here with 501 Magnum, I said, like, when I bring fans to the set, I usually say, well, these are the guys that make your favorites look better on television, you know? And I said, it takes a village to make a freaking 42-minute TV show, you know, and you
Well,
gotta give credit. Yeah, you gotta give credit to that. I have to ask this: how much preparation did you do or research did you do in creating Tom Doyle's character?
um, I certainly did a lot of research into
Because that is a heavy, hard kind of character.
sure, yeah. The writers really made that so much easier on us, and Eric LaSalle, the director, and also one of the producers, the producer, made it so easy to understand where they were coming from with this character, and the choice
Hmm.
that the writers made, and why in this current time they were bringing in this character in opposition to the Royce's character. Uh,
Uh-huh.
and so for me, like I think the hardest part in preparing for this was not making him a caricature of a racist stereotypical cop,
Hmm.
and I think I get an opportunity again in season 7 to bring some of that out. Um, because as an actor, you don't want to play a one-sided person. You want to
That's
play
right.
somebody who's struggling to do something, whether you agree with that thing or you don't. You see a human being who's struggling to do something. Um, and so season 6 was kind of a study in fear, and
Hmm.
season 7 was a study in identity struggle. Quite literally going undercover like that,
Right.
and then having to um, face your demons in terms of having a partner um, who you put a gun to his head the year before. Um, so I'd say like the preparation came in. I want to make sure that I'm prepared to shoot this thing, but I think most of the character stuff was already laid out for me. Like the writers and the directors and Kevin's character. I had to find a good foe for him, and so
Hmm.
that was you know where my creative side came in, is just trying to figure out what ways to oppose him.
Now, coming to season 7, did you know from season 6? Did you know it was going to a season 7 in that arc of the story?
Um,
Did they kind of hinted you that we're bringing it to season 7 in a different kind of direction?
I had heard a rumor that like this might be possible, and typically I can tell when something like,
Mm,
so I
yeah,
did The Shy as well. Uh,
right.
and in season 1, we finished, and I looked at the character and I went, "No way is this character coming back."
All
It just
right,
makes sense in the writing. And then we
right.
got to come back, and so I was totally surprised. I wasn't as surprised for this because I think there was unfinished business there. He said at
Yeah.
the end of season 6, "I'm going to come for your badge."
Hmm.
And so that told me like right there that this could come back. But TV, if another storyline picks up, they're going to take it. So you can't really count your chickens there. You try to just leave it all there every episode that you're there.
I was always telling someone, well, you can always come back. Somebody came back with me with, well, they killed the character. And I said, Well, duh, there's such a thing as flashback.
You bringing me back, Amy? You gonna
Yeah,
have
we want a flashback.
I'll take it. I love working with them. They become a
Yeah.
family to me for, like I come back to them every 2 years or so.
Now, here's the thing. How is it? I know you guys work together. Did you and Leroy's had a little chit chat about it? Where is it gonna go, or how are we gonna do this? Or it's just basic fun, kicking each other's behind, so to
He's
speak.
kicking my behind more than I'm kicking his behind. Um, every once in a while, Loris and I will hop on the phone and chat for a little bit. He's been, we competed against each other in high school,
Yeah, yeah.
in college, and so we've both kind of orbited each other's lives and each other's careers, and thankfully we've had a lot of intersections. And we'd hop on the phone and kind of talk about the character and talk about the scenes. And then when we're on set, there's a lot of time to, shoot the breeze. And yeah, we never really discussed too much of like where this could go. I was more interested in, his journey as a character rather than mine. Like where are they thinking you're gonna go as a character? And so kind of getting to hear a little bit about that through the years and then seeing where his character is going is a pretty cool thing to see.
Now, I like it that you said it that way because I think people and the fans, or let's say the audience, tend to forget that um, a guest star job technically is to be able to give the main character its moment, and
Yeah,
it takes a guest star and a featured actor to make them pop up. That it's how do I told Amanda from Chicago Med, I said, like, you know you may be on the sidelines, just like, one or two lines every now and then, but they actors have to converse with somebody. They have to, the main characters have to interact with somebody, and it takes somebody to draw. I mean, it's like a Meissner technique in theater. You should be able to have someone to give out for them to take in and react.
yeah,
And you did that with his character. I mean, it takes a Mickey, and I'm not kissing ass here, but it takes a Mickey or a Sully to make Leroy's be Leroy's. I mean, come on, dude,
sure,
seriously.
sure. Although he's a phenomenal stand-up performer as well, and a
Yeah,
funny as well. So
are you guys
that
gonna
man
do?
can do anything, I'll tell you.
Are you guys gonna do something together? Have you even? I know you guys are, like you said, you circled together, but because of his working schedule, have you kind of like, hey, we can do something like a battle of spoken words kind of
Oh
thing.
man,
That'll be
I would have
interesting.
to go into my journal for that one. I don't know if that's the best place to go. We never really discussed like outside projects. I know like those guys, the people who are working on those shows are working so damn often, and my schedule is always so up in the air as well. You never know what you're gonna do the next week. So it's hard to plan any projects out, especially when you're not the ones producing it.
That's true.
But it'd be great. Like, it'd be great to do some comedy with him. He's hilarious. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but he won state in high school doing humorous duet acting. It was a funny scene, like a comedic scene. And I think he also won original comedy where he played like all of these different characters. He's just a really funny, good sense of humor comedian, and it would be a blast to be in scenes with him.
But you're funny too. I've
Wow.
seen you. Oh, it's hysterical. I said, like, okay, I wish people would really watch the film. It's like it's ridiculous. Uh, which is easier for you as an actor, preparing and delivering the dramatic side or the comedic side?
Uh, I think if I'm being cocky, I'd say the comedic side, but if I'm being realistic, I'd say the drama. Right? Like comedy to be done really well takes an intense amount of work, uh,
Mhm.
and recognition of patterns and execution of those patterns. And you have to have good writing, you know.
That's true.
Uh,
That's true.
you can if you don't have the best writing, you can still bring a lot of comedic things to something. But when you have great comedic writing, you have to rise up to that writing, and
Mhm.
that's not necessarily true with drama. You can get by with a subpar for performance
Mhm.
if the camera work is doing the right thing, if the sound is doing the right thing, if they're slowly, coming in on your face as you go, like, I'm dying. Like, you can get away with a crappy performance, but in comedy you can't. There's no faking it in comedy.
That's true. Um, I know your resume. You've worked a lot of independent films. Um, is there something we can watch other than I've watched, or something we'll be anticipating from you? That's either going to be. I know that I hope they bring you back on Chicago, but flashback could be a lot of flashback. But hey, but yeah, anything that we can look forward seeing you soon that we can
Yeah,
talk about.
there's so much. Okay,
Oh,
let's see if we can
okay.
remember.
Uh,
I'm in a short horror film on YouTube called Everything is Fine. It's a horror film thriller about a mother who's suffering from postpartum OCD, and she's not really quite sure if she can be trusted with her own baby or with herself. It's a really intense little short. That's a beautiful film by a guy named Danny Rhodes and Lisa Cisneros. And then I'm on the flip side. There's a comedy called All American Sex Offender about this woman who gets fired from her job, gets drunk, and then accidentally pees, but she pees outside next to a school, so she gets put on the sex offender list. And so she has to go like door to door introducing herself, and it's just a really funny comedy by this woman named Chloe Lenahan. And that's on YouTube as well, totally free. There's
yeah.
short little 4-minute episodes. It's a perfect antidote for this kind of cold dreariness.
Well,
You
look,
can kind of look at
yeah.
the season in 25 minutes. Right before COVID started, I went to South Korea to film a movie called Road to Boston. Um, and I'm not sure when that's going to come out, but that'll be a beautiful international film about a true story about a group of runners from Korea running for the first time under the Korean flag in the Olympics. And that was a beautiful experience. I'm so glad that I was there right before everything shut down, because I was like, well, what if like there's an earthquake or something and I have to stay there? Like, how will that work? Um, so there's that. There's a movie on Amazon Prime right now called Hunter's Creed. With there are some people who are huge fans of Dog the Bounty Hunter. Uh,
Right.
yes, he's in that movie. That's a fun movie. It's a fun kind of like horror thriller, spiritual movie about a bunch of guys who go out on a hunting trip, and something is out there in the woods that's coming to get one of the guys.
And
Uh,
let me remind the people, it's
yeah,
a totally different you.
it's a total.
A totally different you.
I've got like a southern accent and stuff.
Right.
And I was also about 265 pounds or 245 pounds when I was shooting that. So you will see an absolutely 100% totally different me. Um, what else? Oh, there's a film called Driftless that should be coming out on Amazon, I believe. I play a park ranger. Um, that's been skirting around film festivals for a little while. But it should be permanently on there. There's another film that was on Amazon for a little while. It's right now a lot of independent filmmakers are trying to find different homes on different streaming
Yes.
platforms, and
Mhm.
so there's a little bit of hopping around that happens. There's a movie called The Misadventures of Mistress Maneater, where I play a Serbian priest who also in his spare time fights MMA matches. Uh,
Yeah, I saw that too.
so that's a fun one. Oh, I did a film, a beautiful film called Drawn Back Home that will also be finding its home on Amazon. It's a romance story, kind of like what would happen if the one who got away came back. Um, and what else is there? I did Captive State with John Goodman, which is already out. Oh, and I've got this fun little horror film. It's kind of like an homage to all of these horror films called Love Me Tinder. This guy named Sean Patrick Leonard wrote
Yeah,
this
yeah.
really cool film, which is basically explores what would happen if we, instead of the woman running around in a towel getting chased by somebody with a knife, what happens if we make that a guy who's in his towel and getting kind
Uh,
of a is the prey. And so I play an absolutely asshole, a big old, can I say that? I play a jerk, a real big jerk, and I get exactly what's coming to me.
what I I think my question is like, what gratification being a performer, seeing yourself in so many mediums. Like, do you watch yourself and say, "Oh my God, that's ridiculous"? Is that really me? It's like most of the actors that I know and I work with, you just say, "No, I don't want to watch it," and I would get sometimes a text, "How did it look?" I have those people kind of, "Did you watch it?" I said, "What did I do? How did I do?" Because I think most of the time the reason is like they don't want to second guess themselves. So do you watch yourself and kind of like, I could have done it differently?
Sometimes, and sometimes I'm proud of myself, and sometimes I'm embarrassed. It's all different. It really depends on like sometimes you leave set and you go, ah, that was awful. I just did not do a good job today. And like now my job is permanent, right? Like somebody's job, some people's job, they go to work, they make a mistake, they can fix it the next day. If I go to work and I make a mistake, I can't fix that the next day.
Right, right.
That's going to the editor and they're
That's
either going
true.
to cut it or they're going to put it in there. And so
Right.
like I like that pressure. I enjoy that like we've got to find it right now. And when I'm watching, so often I firmly believe that maybe I don't love acting as much as I like the life of an actor, going to set and seeing people and talking to people and getting to dissect writing and stuff like that. And so when I watch a piece that I was a part of, I'm thinking about all of the memories, right? Like the days that we were
Mm,
there, the jokes that were shared, the stories that were told, the mess ups that we had. And so that's what's going off in my head, not um, more often lately, not oh, I should have done that better or this or that. And
right.
also like for film, sometimes it's 2 years, 3 years before you see the thing. So like
That's true.
I
That's
don't even
true.
remember what the other takes would have looked like.
Now you have done like so many stuff as far as characters are concerned. Is there something that you haven't done that you really wanted to do as far as character is concerned?
Oh,
There's something you want to be rather than you haven't done it.
um, geez, I've gone about. I'm really good at what's the secret? What is that book? The Secret?
Secret of
No, no, The Secret where you like can manifest things. Like for example, I'm famous in my circle for saying
uh-huh.
like I'm gonna do this, and then that thing happening like very soon after that,
Oh,
would
okay.
be out of my
Uh,
control. So I have to be very careful with what I say right here because it could come true. I really want to play a psychologist or a therapist or a counselor. I think I could bring something really nice to that I haven't been able to bring to a lot of characters. Um, I mean, I think the dream for any actor is to wake up and go to work every day. And so that's still the dream for me, is whatever allows that. And I hope to be surprised by that, is that so that I can continue to live the life of an actor, and not just about the projects, but getting to talk to people like you. And
Oh,
it's such a blessing. Like, we only get this one life, and I have a pretty cool life. I get to play pretend and talk to people, and
and get
I
paid.
get to wear sweatpants to work, Amy. Come on,
And get paid.
and get paid.
Well, I want to thank you so much. I mean, this is to me, it's like I was just watching him on my TV earlier, and then I'm here talking to you. So, this is my starstruck moment. I'm
I'm
not ashamed
I'm
of saying that.
watching you on my TV. This is my TV.
So it's kind of like, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank Casey for doing it, because I kind of like begged her to do it for me, but okay. And it goes like, and I'm sure there's a lot of fans who are kind of like uh, seeing a different side of you than just
I
somebody getting
hope
beaten
so.
up.
I
Well,
hope so.
okay, here's the thing. I'm going to give you the opportunity right now. Give 5 seconds wait. Say hello. One, two, three, four, five. And I'm going to cut it. And then I'm going to kind of like, how do you call this? Um, show the clip before I show the clip of the entire thing. So I'll pause for a while. Say hello to your fans.
Okay, so I've got to say hi to all my fans, of course. Thank you so much for watching. Also, some of my friends that I like to call fans wanted me to say the word gobbledygook, gobbledygook. So I'm saying that because I like a challenge. And I hope you all are safe and healthy and happy. Mwah.
Thank you, my dear. And I hope to see you soon on television.
Ditto.
If
I'm
I
gonna
don't
go
get
to
to see you,
Hawaii for my honeymoon, so maybe I'll see
please,
you.
please let me know. We're
Okay.
going to be here post COVID, of course.
Yes.
Stay safe, stay warm. Thank you, Mickey. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye.